Sweet. I'm Trey, by the way. This is Leo.
Yeah,
All right, nice to meet you. I'm Sydney.
Nice to meet you,
awesome.
Sydney.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, how did you guys first come together as a band?
Um, I feel like you should.
I'm down. Trey was playing a solo set at an art gallery. Um, he was doing like a solo improvisational like looping set. It was like a couple hours of like just instrumental music, and I was at the gallery because it's a mutual friend's art show, and I was really transfixed, and I just kind of had a intuition that I should try to befriend this guy and make music with him, and things got rolling pretty quick.
Yeah, we Leo kind of courted me to go on his radio show actually and talk about some music I had just put out.
Yeah,
And then after the interview we hung out and played a little bit of music and then kind of just kept playing music.
yeah, it just didn't really stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had a bunch of mutual friends in the music scene in LA, um, so it was just a matter of time before we met. But yeah, I love our origin story. It feels really like true to the what the band feels like. So
Yeah, it seems natural. It's kind of like kismet.
it
You
was
guys were,
totally kismet.
yeah, meant to meet. I
Oh
think
yeah,
the use of the word courted is really interesting. It sounds like you were a bit of a fan at first.
absolutely. I liked his performance, and then I listened to his solo records and loved him. And I was like, I think this guy is the real deal. I'm gonna go to any lengths to be make him be my friend.
Yeah, it's funny. It does kind of like parallel just like a regular romantic relationship. I had also seen his music and um, just like he had been a Leo had been a peripheral figure in my life because we had some mutual friends, and I was like, this guy's like doing some really cool stuff that's really different than anything else that any of our friends are doing, and like making full records and just clearly willing to put a lot of work into it.
Mhm.
And it was just really cool to see somebody taking it that seriously for me too.
So, Trey, how long before Finnish Postcard were you doing music?
It's kind of always been the thing. I was, taking piano lessons as a little kid and stuff. And there was not really, I grew up in like a really small town in Northern California, and there wasn't really a lot of infrastructure for like being a DIY musician or like doing, band stuff locally. So I kind of like, I had like 10 bands as a child that never played shows because we didn't really know that you could play shows. We just rehearsed and then didn't do anything else. Um, so it's like if you count that, then my whole life. But I had been only putting out recorded music for a couple of years at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you guys emailed me kind of a list of your inspirations, and I was wondering if you could talk more about your inspirations for your work, particularly this album, because the mention of Alex G, The Killers, Claire Rousset, those kind of particularly caught my eye.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we started making music, we it was like a long process of like we made a lot of different types of stuff. And we both made a lot of different types of stuff before this band. But I feel like we like kind of bonded over like meditative kind of slowish music, like slowcore and like the first couple Iron and Wine albums and like Wilco and stuff. Um, so I feel like we were trying to this album felt like we were trying to write songs that were short and compact and immediate and were like um, just kind of felt good. I remember that was something we talked about. We're like, we
Hmm.
want the music to feel good in your body and in your when it hits you. Um, but also had a couple experiences like we saw Claire Rousset live and it was really like really mind blowing and that kind of changed the course of the record and um, yeah,
Yeah, and I feel like um, we're just huge Alex G fans. Um,
yeah,
not much needs to be said probably about that. And I think the Killers is a band that we bonded over in sort of like a, Finnish Postcard is like we describe ourselves as an American band, and I think um, we know what we mean by that, but it's not always easy to convey. And I think the Killers are a good example of another band that's like that, where it's, you know, kind of almost like Springsteenian, you know, evokes America, but in a way that is feels more artful and less like,
It's not patriotic.
yeah, not patriotic. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, just more about the general experience of living in America. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really fascinated by the mention of Alex G just because his work on the movie We're All Going to the World's Fair. I remember that being like a very haunting, I don't know, it's kind of like a an unrelenting, obsessive kind of sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that score. And I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
I think it was a very bold choice to have him score because parts of that score really sound like Alex G songs. Like a lot of it is like kind of is more like in line with like normal movie scores, but there's like some Alex G moments on that, and that just I feel like his music has this like sweet childlikeness that feels like so thematically similar to that movie.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just think I think that's a bold choice for sure.
Yeah. And just because of what you mentioned about being American but not necessarily patriotic, I think that movie kind of represents that in a way, like in the digital age,
Mm-hmm.
what it means to belong to a space but not really,
100%.
I don't know, respect it entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're like, as hard as you try, you cannot change your hometown.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what was the writing process like for Body?
Um, it's there was no real departure from how we've always done stuff, which is there's no there's no paint by numbers, way that we approach it. The songs come from a different place every time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I feel like it's either one of us starts a song and we both finish it,
mhm.
or we both start a song and we both finish it.
Yeah.
There's a couple that were like started together, and then there was some that just had kind of like the bones of the song or like a verse and nothing else that we worked on together. Or like, there's songs where I wrote the bridge and Trey wrote the verse and the chorus. And yeah. But there's no song that wasn't finished together.
The answer is like it's kind of a messy like collaboration for every song in a way that the pieces always fit together a little bit differently. But by the end, it's like, we've both songs are all songs are a product really of like equal parts of both of us by the time they're out.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now having put out your debut album?
We just had our release show last night,
Yeah.
our album release show slash party in LA,
It was
and
awesome.
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
feel good. I feel like I thought I would feel a little better when it came out.
Mhm.
Or I guess a lot of people asked me last night, they're like, how do you feel? And I'm like, man, it was just I've been so close to these songs for so long that it coming out just was like one of the like 35 check marks that we were trying to get done for this album.
Yeah, it's like,
So,
okay, the album came
yeah,
out. We have a tour in a couple weeks, where we're going to be touring this album. Um, we're like worried about getting like the graphic design layout for the CD cases and
yeah,
stuff. It's like, um, yeah, I think it's like I feel very preoccupied with many other
yeah.
things.
I
Um,
will say though, I think this album came out exactly how I wanted it to,
yeah,
which I cannot say about everything I've made. And I feel like this one, yeah, I feel like there wasn't any, I didn't, there's no compromise in the making of the record, which I feel really good about.
Yeah. I feel really happy with the finished product, but I won't say that I'd be lying if I said that there's a like visceral feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a kind of like I feel like it's a little disorienting still. I'll probably feel that soon.
So you haven't felt any sort of relief yet.
I mean, there's some relief, but it's like I was hoping that just the floodgates would open and I would just like I'd be like, okay, finally I can take a breath. And it was just it's more like,
It's kind of like everything where you're like expect this big thing and then it's like it's just like everything else really. For me at least.
totally. And like making music is challenging and then releasing music is challenging in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So it's just like new things. But
Yeah.
I feel really happy with it.
Very proud of the record, very proud of how we went about um, rolling it out, putting it out, the release show. All the people that were involved with it, there's no bad taste in the mouth at all for any part of it. So I'm very thankful, but at the same time, it didn't feel putting out a record's just so weird because there's no moment where you like press a button and then it's out. It's like you have to press a million little buttons and then it's 1/64th out for each little thing that you do. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
strange experience for sure.
So, not to stress you guys out anymore, but where are you touring?
We're playing a California show in San Diego next week, and then we're gonna do 3 shows in Oregon and 3 in Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly Pacific Northwest, which is going to be my first time in a lot of those places, but that's where Leo.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
from Oregon, so
okay.
So, these shows will have kind of like a hometown feel.
yeah, we literally are playing my hometown, um, which will be cool. I haven't played there in like 7 years, so
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
last fall we did a West Coast tour of California cities, which felt like my wheelhouse. 'Cause I grew up in California and NorCal and like have lived kind of all up and down the coast since then, and now we're kind of more in Leo's neck of the woods,
Yeah, feel good.
full circle.
So, I was reading through your Substack a bit,
So
and I saw that you mentioned kind of a lot about building community around your music. So, I was wondering if maybe you could talk about what it feels like to cultivate this intimate vibe, being kind of like a smaller band.
Yeah. Um, I feel really lucky for the people that we've met doing music in LA. And it's just funny how, like, I feel like as a musician, really the thing that we, more than anything else that we try to do is as many things as possible that are really specifically true to us as a band and like true to the types of things that we want to do. And I just feel like when you have that sort of like radar ping, um, the right people kind of just tend to like pick up on it. And it's like, it's not a huge community, but the people that are here really, I think, get it and are here for it. So yeah, it's been a cool exercise in kind of just organic, voluntary, fun, community, not trying to like get our music out and like market to everybody possible, if that makes any
yeah,
sense.
anytime I've gone out with the intention of networking, it's never worked, you know. I think if you go out to shows and see bands you like and talk to people that inspire you, then community is a little bit inevitable. And we're lucky because we live in this big, like 120-year-old house in Pasadena where we can have a lot of shows and events. And that's been really fucking cool as like a kind of cultivating like a group of people. Our release show was actually here at our house last night. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think, when I was a kid dreaming of being a musician, it always involved, you know, being surrounded by people that I respect. And I really, we have that now, and it's really not something I take for granted. It's very, very fucking cool.
I mean, a lot of our biggest influences are our friends and our friends' bands,
Yeah.
or bands that we happen to be lucky enough to be friends with, um, which is, we're all about. I mean, that's everything.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think networking is such a cold word. I mean, it's kind of the antithesis of building a genuine community.
Yeah. And it's like, networking is, it's a very loaded word. And it's like, if your goal is to play music with people that you like for not some specific other like ulterior gain, then it's like network to your heart's content, because playing music is awesome and it enriches everyone's lives. Anyone who is participating in that is gonna be benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Mhm. So the production on this album is quite different from one track to the next. Could you speak a little bit about the process behind like Gun-Shaped Key and Coalesce particularly?
Mhm.
Those got to be like the two most different songs.
Yeah, those are definitely on the far ends of the spectrum, because Gun-Shaped Key is kind of just like a rock and roll song,
Yeah,
basically.
drums and bass and a guitar were all done at the same time, and then there
Yeah.
was like more guitar and vocals on top, but it's like a really a live song.
Yeah. And also that's a song that we recorded after playing it live for a long time, which is generally not what we do for our songs.
Yeah.
Versus Colesk, which is you know, that's a bed of chopped up samples, and made into a beat.
Yeah, that's like was completely assembled in the computer. There wasn't like a real specific rhyme or reason. We didn't have like we need this many rock songs. Um, but I was like, I feel like we both record a lot and produce a lot, and it's like there are things that you do that are cool, like or like there's like production tricks that sound good and sound cool, and we were really trying to not have anything on the album that was just there because it was cool, like or because it sounded interesting.
Hmm.
We really wanted to have all the any sounds that made it on the album had to enhance the song,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like the song had to come first.
Had to
It's like
speak to what was going on. And just to speak to the process of those two songs, for Gun Shaped Key, I remember getting home from work or something, and Leo had written it, um, you know, basically the bones of the song. And then we kind of sat down, and I had like these ideas for like arrangement and like just how we could like kind of organize all the parts and stuff.
yeah,
And then we wound up kind of arranging the whole song together, and it wound up being pretty different than how it started.
yeah,
I feel like that's a really collaborative, out of all the songs in the album,
oh yeah,
that one was extremely collaborative.
yeah, changed so much. And Celeste too, like came from me just messing with some stuff in the computer, and then Trey wrote the vocal melody in his head at work. So that I mean that's pretty fucking collaborative too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, we didn't have like a guide, an invisible hand, like being like, let's not do too much of this or too much of this. But I do think as we were making the album, we cut a lot of music, and we were trying to have at the core a lot of songs that felt like they were in the rock and roll or slowcore or emo tradition.
Yeah.
Like we wanted songs where the thing that sticks with you is the lyrics and the guitar parts, like kind of just what a band would do.
Yeah.
And there's I think we both got a lot better at recording over the last 2 years too. So it was fun to like flex a little bit and be like,
Yeah.
understand how you can
Be
kind of
capable of like doing a little bit more on our own. Also, the boundary lines of what is like considered acceptable in our band is like it's I would say it's broad in a certain sense. There's a lot of things that we don't consider to be what we do. Um, but I think, we have a general sensibility that when we follow, I think the end result is pretty varied,
yeah, 100%.
but feels very true to the band still.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff ended up on the cutting room floor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love those two tracks. I chose those two to play on the show last night. So it's interesting to hear that they're kind of on different ends of the spectrum.
We just listened to the show actually.
Oh,
One,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, those are pretty much. Yeah, and we recorded Gun Shaped Key at our friend Dan's house, and he has a really awesome studio that's like, you know, um, I mean, our studio is awesome too, but Dan's is a little bit more the equipment's a little more expensive,
Yeah.
and he's doing more of a studio thing. And we're doing a little bit more of a do what we can with what we have
Yeah.
thing.
Our music was recorded in our house, and it's supposed to sound like that.
Exactly. But so Gun Shaped Key is a little bit more. There's a lot of little gadgets and gizmos and preamps and stuff that I don't really understand that Dan does
Yeah.
that went into making it sound how it does as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Of course.
And
100%. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. I wish you guys the best on the rest of your album release journey and,
Thank
of
you.
course, the tour that's coming up.
Thank you so much. Yeah.